Welcome to another edition of MyStartup.Live on this hot day in July in Southern California. I have today a special guest, always a special guest, a new entrepreneur, a very young entrepreneur, Mr. Zach Little. Zach.
How's it going?
Very good. Thanks for joining me today. Zach is, I believe, a student still, but a student entrepreneur. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am currently going into my junior year at the University of California, Irvine. I study computer science, recently switched to informatics, which is very similar.
Okay.
It allows me to study some psychology as well as business with my computer science. So I get the technical aspect, but I also get to get some of the academic business.
So it's the practical use of that programming to create a product that's, beneficial to the customer or your own business.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I really care about. Is I want to be at the intersection of technology and entrepreneurship. I'm not really interested in being the next research programmer at Google. I want to be creating companies with emerging technology.
So adopting all of the technology today and exploiting it for creating efficiencies in your business, as well as maybe selling something that is a technology.
Absolutely. I am very much a process guy within my own businesses right now, or business right now. I very much care about efficiencies within workflows, whether that's me doing something on my own or the team working together. So I care a lot about the actual systems that we're using inside the business. Okay. And I think my computer science training has very much allowed me to focus on that. So that's been very helpful for me so far.
And one of the things that we'll learn about from Zach is his relationship, I would say, or supplier, not supplier relationship, service provider relationship with Amazon. Amazon is one of the largest company in the world, and most specifically is becoming one of the best logistics partners that any small business can have to sell their product.
Absolutely.
But talk to me about how you came to being involved with being an Amazon seller.
Okay, so it starts off being an eBay seller, actually.
Okay.
So while at the University of California, Irvine, I went to a student club meeting in my freshman year in November. I learned that importing products from China was a thing. One of the speakers there imported shipping containers of bikes to UC Santa Barbara while he was a student, assembled them in his dorm room and sold them to kids on campus, right? So from hearing that story, I thought, okay, I might be able to do this too. So I'm going to start looking into importing, start to learn on my own. And I just went out onto the internet and found everything I could about e-commerce.
Okay.
For me, it started with doing product research, right? So I created a little spreadsheet in my dorm room.
Like what products are popular, which ones are successful? You're looking at all those different.
At the time, it was very rudimentary. We've gotten much more sophisticated at this point, but at the time, it was me and a person from a fraternity that I was joining at the time. I've since dropped, but me and a frat brother at the time were just looking at, okay, like how do we do this? So there was a website called Startup Bros who wrote some blog posts about how to find these products, and it basically came down to looking at the Amazon bestsellers lists and just searching for products I could find on Alibaba, right? So I could find from Chinese manufacturers.
So you're matching up sort of demand over here with at the time as one of the resources for finding that product, which would be Alibaba. I mean, sure, there's others now, even today, that you can get from other countries besides what Alibaba sources from.
Absolutely. So I found some bracelets that we wanted to sell. I imported 100 of those for about $100, right? Very, very cheap products. Listed those on eBay with some friends. I had gone from, because I wasn't in the fraternity anymore, wasn't working with that friend anymore, I had found some high school friends that I was very close with who really what I found out about them was that they also had an interest in learning and in business. Would not have expected that, but we were great friends, and I said, okay, let's see if we work well together. So we did just a trial run on this $100 importing product, right? So we put them up on eBay. Within the first day, we sold the limit of the account. It was like we could do like 20 sales a day in the jewelry category. So we had to make multiple eBay accounts.
What was the limit for that?
eBay?
Who is establishing that limit?
eBay does. For new jewelry sellers, they have a 3-month trial period where you're actually only allowed to sell 5 units per day if you're a new seller. Wow. So we had to call in and get like a pass that let us do 20 a day for that account. And then we had to have all of my friends start more accounts. And I guess the restriction is just to eliminate theft, or? I think it's low quality products. I think if there's a new, because jewelry is a category where you can have people selling thousands of dollars of gold rings and bracelets and stuff like that, right? So if someone is selling not genuine gold and they say it's genuine gold, there could be quality things there that eBay just doesn't want to deal with.
Based on price. So essentially they're trying to limit the fraud or low quality, just that's trashing the market.
Yeah, and they institute that as a blanket policy for all sellers in that category. So we went through that. It took us, I think, about 2 months to sell through those 100 units. We ended up selling like $1,000 because we were selling them at about $10 each. We bought them for $1. So we ended up profiting about $700 from that product, which is pretty good for the first time I'd ever tried to do anything in business.
For any business, if you make a profit the first time out. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I worked in a restaurant before that, right? So this is my first entrance into the entrepreneurial world at all.
Right.
After that, I tried to source some carbon fiber money clips, as well as started looking into like bamboo socks as things I wanted to sell on eBay. But I had this realization that what I was doing was trying to make money for a day online. And it worked at the time. It was my entrance, but I wanted to make money for a while.
Yeah,
right?
You wanted that sustainable business model, that product portfolio, or even more specifically, focus on one product even.
Yeah.
Longer term.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that got me interested in being an Amazon seller. And so that's when the journey started to get a lot more interesting.
So in your, say, experience, eBay was more of a short term and Amazon was more of a long-term partnership in terms of being a true partner in storefront.
Yeah, they give me a lot more resources, specifically FBA, which we'll talk about more, the ability for them to handle all of my logistics in terms of shipping to my customers. One of the things I realized while selling those bracelets on eBay, I don't like printing out shipping labels and packaging all of my products myself.
Yeah, you were putting them in plastic bags.
Little manila envelopes, putting a few bracelets in an envelope, taping it all together, putting a shipping label on from eBay.
Not to mention you have the ink for the printer, you got the bags you have to buy, you have the time it takes you to pack all the items as well.
Yeah, it was mainly the time.
Shipments that come back, etc. Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted to be able to focus on what products I want to sell, building communities and marketing around those products, and really being able to make sure that I'm servicing my customers the best I can. I don't really want to be putting all of my time into driving back and forth to the post station, right? The post office. And Amazon is a huge company that already has invested heavily into those processes for me.
Okay.
So I'm
all the way down to we talked about the final leg of the journey, which is the delivery to the household, and that was just recently changed with their acquisition of Whole Foods for $13.7 billion. They now have access to ship all the way from their distribution center all the way to the front door.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now they do 2-day. Jeff Bezos considers his 3 pillars of Amazon, like the things he cares about: price, selection, and delivery speed. He never sees a future where you either want to pay more for your product, have less selection, or take longer for you to get your product. He doesn't think those are going to be things that consumers want, right? So those are what he's building his business around. So delivery speed is something he's going to continue to try to decrease. He wants to go to 1-day shipping or a couple hour shipping. He has Amazon Fresh and Amazon Go now, which are like same-day delivery for groceries, right? So it's trending towards this huge logistics company.
And 2 weeks ago, we talked with Nick Nguyen, who developed an online tool to monitor pricing on Amazon so that you can end up buying at the best price, best recommended price.
Yeah.
Something I'm sure you didn't know about, but
I use something similar on the seller side to split test my pricing and see on automatic.
What tool is it called?
It's called Splitly. It's by
Splitly.
Yeah.
Split.ly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Split.ly for you Amazon sellers out there. There's a great tool to learn about pricing of your competition of products in a particular category.
You can also split test things like your product images, your titles, your descriptions. It allows you to do a lot.
It's looking at like elements and then comparing them and giving you the difference.
Yeah, and it allows you to also split test your own products and things, which Amazon doesn't provide. You know, if you've had other internet marketers on the show, I assume that they've talked about the importance of split testing and actually looking at the data instead of your own assumptions about what's going to work. Right. So this is a software tool that allows you to do that for Amazon products, which hasn't really existed much in the past.
All right. And I know, I mean, we'll get into what FBA means, but that you mentioned the acronym. That's Fulfillment by Amazon, and that's becoming a quick, fast-growing term because a lot of folks are using Amazon as a partner for logistics.
Yeah.
So talk me through it. You're still a student at UCI. We're going to back up just a moment and learn. How are you inspired to be an entrepreneur in the first place, besides obviously selling bracelets on eBay?
Yeah, so I mean, it starts with my family from a young age. My mom she worked for HP. She was in corporate life. She didn't like that. So when I was 3, she quit that and joined a nonprofit. So she does after-school enrichment programs, Kids College, if you guys watching.
Kidscollege.
Yeah.
.org?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
TheKidsCollege.org. Check it out. But I've seen her building up that nonprofit organization for a lot of my life. I used to be the 3-year-old kid going around and handing out flyers to the parents at after-school nights and stuff like that. So I've witnessed my mom building up an organization.
Okay.
But with that, I've also seen financial stress and hardship in my early life, right? So I knew from a young age that I wanted to be financially successful, financially free for myself, just because I wanted the options and the freedom and the personal choice that came with that.
Which is probably what inspires most entrepreneurs too, is that you have a passion, but in order to really pursue that passion, and Zach and I have talked about, entrepreneurship does not necessarily mean going out there and making a bunch of money. It means being able to make enough money to be sustainable for your business, your employees, your team, your customers, and eventually some cause that you really care about. You can actually provide a resource to that cause either through a B corporation or by just giving your time, giving your product, giving your,
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, we've talked about this in the past, I think that is really now how you become successful. That was not my mindset when I started entrepreneurship. I wanted a Ferrari. I liked cars, right? So I started learning about what it was going to take to get that. Oh, I need a lot of money. How do I get a lot of money? Oh, I should probably go into being a business owner. I was learning to program in high school at the time, right? So I was lucky enough to have computer science classes in my high school.
And you saw the possibilities that were coming out, even just the growth of the industry, the fact that many companies out there were not adopting that technology of revolution and not implementing efficiencies in their business, and you were like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, so I wanted to be a programmer. I wanted to go to college, get my computer science degree, join Amazon or Google or one of these top firms for just writing code, right? And that's what I thought I was going to do. When I was 16, I worked at Legoland, California in a restaurant. I was making mac and cheese, flipping burgers, stuff like that. And on my lunch breaks, I would go read books. And I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Guy Kawasaki, right?
I know that.
Yeah, so that showed me that there was other options available. And I didn't have to be an employee. I didn't have to build someone else's dream up. I could work on things that I cared about and demand of myself that I make a lot of money helping people, right? So that really changed my perspective. At that point, I found resources online about how to start learning about business, just reading as much as I can, right? Listening to people interviewing other entrepreneurs like you're doing now, podcasts, all of these things. I just put myself out there and started learning. And so that's when I can really consider the start of my journey, which was when I was 16. When I was 18, that's when I really knew that I was going to become a business owner at some point in my future. This was before I was in college.
You're redirecting your path at that point already towards that end,
Absolutely,
toward that goal.
Absolutely. I knew what I wanted to do in the future, didn't know how I was going to get there, but I knew that I was already set to go to UCI, and I knew that there were going to be some resources there that would help me along that end. I was no longer coming into college with the intention that I was going to go get my degree as a computer scientist. My primary reasoning at that point was I'm going to surround myself with the people, the ideas, and the resources I'm going to need to become the person who can be successful at owning a business.
And now you've gotten involved with the Entrepreneur Center at UCI. That's Entrepreneur Center for all you out there that are in Southern California. Very good resource. If you're a student at UCI or you're in the area in Orange County, do check out some of the resources that are available at the Entrepreneur Center.
Yeah, we do events. There's an event every day at campus. These are open to the public. You can come through. We also do free business consultations, which is something that I am one of the consultants. So if you want to come just get some insight into really what I think the most valuable thing there is a removed perspective. It's someone who is a little bit detached from the trenches of you trying to start your business. So they have the bandwidth and the worldview to give you insight that you might not be able to see yourself. There's some really incredibly smart people who are working there, the senior consultants. I am going into my junior year, so I am one of the people who helps out with initial consultations. And when you really have a business that you're looking to scale, some of the more experienced people take over from that standpoint. But it's completely free, which is one thing I love. There's so many incubators who are trying to get percentages of your company and all of this stuff. We just want to see entrepreneurs grow, right? We're all about growth, and that's what I love.
Well, and as an entrepreneur, if you help other entrepreneurs, you are going to get more from that relationship than you think. We talked about giving back. You need to be able to feel comfortable giving back to your customers, to your family, to your colleagues and eventually to other entrepreneurs that are going to eventually become even a supplier to you.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I've already found relationships, people that I'm meeting through these consultations where I just want to help them as much as I can, and through that, right now we're looking to launch a shoe deodorizer spray as one of the products in our Amazon business. We're having trouble finding suppliers for that, but one of the people that came in and consulted with me is starting basically a cosmetics company out here, and she was looking for my help with getting her products on Amazon. So she might become our supplier for that, right? So there's all of these beneficial relationships. And one of the things that I did not expect was to be in a position so early in my entrepreneurial journey where I could give back to other people and I could help. And what I really realized is that everyone has that potential. You don't have to be 10 years down the road with a company doing $50 million a year to be able to give back.
Yeah, because the one thing that you've learned in your already short journey even is something that's going to help someone else. And we definitely want to take some time today to talk about Fulfillment by Amazon. So real quick, give me your take on Fulfillment by Amazon. I'm going to pull up your product here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my take on Fulfillment by Amazon is that I love it. It's amazing. What I do is I create physical product brands, and I use Amazon as a launch mechanism for these brands. I think a mistake that some people make with FBA is that they think that they're just building an Amazon business, and I don't think that's necessarily the case, because you can caught up in playing the algorithms too much and just trying to get your product to rank for your one keyword, but you're never going to be in Walmart.
You've forgotten to build the brand that's behind that product.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where people get mistaken, where they are just looking for the quick cash flow play, and they're not looking to really help people with the products that they're creating.
Right.
So what I like to use Amazon for...
In the end of the day, even if they're buying it through Amazon, they're still buying a product that you sold.
Absolutely.
So you need to believe in that product and believe in what it does for your customers.
Absolutely. And a lot of Amazon customers actually don't realize that they're buying from someone like me, who is a young entrepreneur starting a business. A lot of people think that when they buy something off Amazon, it's coming from Amazon.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case.
It just came from Amazon's shelf.
Yeah.
But you still had to do a lot of the work to get it onto that shelf.
Exactly, exactly. I'm creating the brand around it again, you know? So what I like Amazon for is that they have a tsunami of existing demand for all of these different keywords. And all I have to do is be able to get my product in front of existing eyes. I don't have to create demand. I just have to fill demand with a better product, or even just a comparable product. You don't have to be number one. You just have to be top 10. You have to be on page 1. So it lowers the barriers for entry by a huge amount if you're patient and if you have good intentions.
And just a little prediction here from MyStartup.Live. We've talked about Amazon. We have another show on the Applebox Network called Going Live, which is about live streaming. And most people don't know that in 2014, Amazon purchased Twitch, which is one of the top live streaming platforms. Imagine, and it won't happen too far in the future, when Amazon allows you to live stream on your product page. So now you'll be able to talk to your customer directly through your Amazon web store, as if they walked into your front door in your retail shop.
Yeah, man, I would enjoy that. I'd be on there all the time. I'd be talking to customers nonstop.
Let's see how long that takes, Zach. That's my prediction.
All right.
So here, I just wanted to take a moment and show the Amazon services, the FBA website. If you didn't know how to find it, I just ran a quick Google search, Amazon Fulfillment, and the first link there is Amazon. Help boost your sales with Amazon's world-class fulfillment. And you click on Get Started, and it goes to a page here that's setting up your Amazon selling account. So what did you do in this process here, this stage?
Yeah, so this is the Seller Central dashboard, which is what I log in through as a seller. You have your primary Amazon consumer dashboard, Amazon.com. I go to sellercentral.amazon.com. There are 2 seller plans. You can either be, I forget the exact wording, but I think it's a free seller. Basically, you don't pay anything to Amazon. You just sign up to list your products. That allows you to create listings, but it does not allow you to use FBA, which is their fulfillment centers. So then there's the premium seller package, which is...
I think it's $40 a month.
$40 a month, correct.
Okay.
Very cheap, right? And that allows you to use Amazon's pay-per-click advertising. It allows you to put products into their distribution centers. It basically opens you up to all of the resources that they've invested so heavily in to allow you to leverage and cut down your time. So I initially was a free seller. after like a month or two of doing that, we realized, no, I mean, it's $40 a month. We want these services. We're going to go for the premium plan. Definitely recommend it. One of the things is you don't really need to have your account set up before you know what your products are. So I would definitely recommend that most people spend way more time than you're planning to in product research.
Yeah.
Because it is the most important thing.
And so you have a product, and you would need to have some sort of business entity or address, or you enter in even your social security number if you're a sole proprietorship for that.
That's the way I started with sole prop. Everything was through my social security, through my bank accounts. Now I'm doing it through an LLC of a joint venture with people that I met at UCI, which we might get into later. But very simple. You can do it as an individual or as a corporate entity.
And one thing that's great about Amazon, and again, this is not an advertisement for Amazon in any way, it's just to help entrepreneurs out there who have a product, who are interested in selling on this tool, that this is one of the resources you have. One of the things that's very, very important is that Amazon helps you with all the tax elements. So calculating sales tax. You know, if you're a small business owner, this is actually something you're going to spend a lot of time doing, is tax details, pricing, etc. So a lot of those tools exist now within this portal.
Yeah, absolutely. They handle pretty much everything for you. You'd have to do a little bit of reconciliation at the end of the year because there's some states that charge, some states that don't, so you have to deal with a little bit of that. But they make it easy for you. Like you said, they provide all of those tools.
All the data behind
Exactly. They collect that from their customers.
So we're going to go to your product page. This is Vanguard Products Group, which is selling this one item right now on Amazon. This is called the Champion IR infrared thermometer. So how did you choose the infrared thermometer as your first Amazon product?
Yeah, this actually was not my first Amazon product. I was going to source acrylic sign holders initially. And I went through the process of doing that with my 2 high school friends. We went through 4 or 5 sample orders because we had to get the packaging right so these units wouldn't break when they were being shipped overseas. We got it right. We thought it was going to be awesome. Put down a 250 unit order from our manufacturer.
How much did that cost you? It
was about $2,000 because there's actually 750 units. We were selling 3 packs of these sign holders. So it was about $2,000 that we put out. This was my money that I made from working at a restaurant and doing odd jobs.
All your essentially savings,
I had some extra. I didn't put
cushion savings. Your cushion savings.
Exactly. It was what I could afford to put out. Right. You know, I am very risk averse as a person. I don't want to put everything on the line, so I keep what I need to survive. Okay. But it was all of the capital I could put together.
It was your travel money. It was your hot tub money.
It was my food money, stuff like that, right? So there's fast food money. I was still eating at the time, right? But everything that I could afford, put into that product. It got into the States fine. In the last couple miles of shipping from the port that we imported it to, we had to do sea freight because this was a heavy product.
It's a pretty big item. It's a pallet.
Yeah, it was a pallet. So we did sea freight. In the last mile of taking that from the port to Amazon's distribution centers, our freight forwarder did something, and the products arrived unfulfillable, right? So that was $2,000 basically gone.
Damaged.
Yeah, they were damaged product.
And now you're blaming the freight forwarder. They're like,
yeah, it's nothing. It's under the water, right. You know, or under water under the bridge, I guess is the standard.
Did you get any money back from the freight forwarder?
Nah. So that's one of the things that we try to limit. The
supplier provided the goods, let's say, in condition of sale.
Yeah.
Amazon would have sold them in the condition of sale, but that freight forwarder screwed your whole puppy.
And it's our responsibility to be able to make sure our products arrive intact. One of the biggest things for people watching this is don't order products that can break. Right? You want to keep things simple.
Or at least know what you're shipping and how to ship it before you order it.
Yeah, that was a mistake of us as some young kids who were first getting into this, that we saw great market opportunity and we thought we could overcome that logistics barrier. But what I learned from that, at least for myself, is that I don't want to be dealing with logistics issues when I have companies that are much larger than me handling logistics for me. Yeah. I want to leverage the systems and be able to just plug in products that are going to work well with those systems.
Okay, so then comes to our Champion IR infrared. So clearly this thing's going to be less damageable, let's say, in shipping. Probably comes in a box or a series of boxes.
Absolutely.
Pre-box.
So this is a product where in the process of learning by doing and ordering those acrylic sign holders, I asked questions to people at my university, professors who were actually selling Amazon products. And so they had a water bottle selling at the time. Just stainless steel water bottle. We since cut that product because we are pretty ruthless in making sure things are profitable. And so me and my 2 friends created a joint venture with the people at Vanguard Products Group. So this is the product that we have launched together. We've been working on this one since pretty much the start. They had found the supplier already, which was awesome. But the market validation process is basically finding things that have existing sales. We're looking, we have a little bit more sophisticated process on the back end now. We look at how many products with like very low BSRs, bestseller rankings for people out there. You want a lot of products with low BSRs, say under 5,000, in the top, basically in that marketplace, so you can find good products. We use Jungle Scout, which is a market research tool, as well as a Viral Launch's market intelligence tool, just for anyone who's interested out there.
Jungle Launch.
Jungle Scout?
Jungle Scout, Viral Launch, and Splitly. These are 3 tools that Zach Little has been utilizing for his part of his success formula.
Yeah, and we can link these up in the comments and stuff like that. There's a lot more that we can talk about there.
Speaking of which, if you do watching this show, please do share the show on your feed if the information is relevant to you, and do ask any comments, questions you would like in our comment section. We will get back to you, and Zach will certainly monitor that feed for any response. So these are some of the competitive, let's say, also infrared laser thermometers that are on the website there.
Absolutely.
Right here we have also customer reviews. I know that you have a seller profile. So this is something you're responsible for, is the feedback on your product through the Amazon portfolio.
Yeah, and these are actually seller reviews. So there's product reviews, which are on our detail page, which was the last tab you were on, and these are seller reviews of people.
So there's the
product
reviews.
Yeah. So these are reviews of our product itself. We're one of the only sellers with 5 stars in this product category, which is nice.
Good
Very cool for us. Yeah, it actually helps a lot.
Stars.
And it's nice because it shows the full 5 stars instead of 4.5, which is cool. I like that.
And it looks like it's been 98% positive for Vanguard products in the past 12 months. 144 ratings on your store, and that's also really good for, let's say, customer trust.
Yeah,
building
absolutely.
Customer trust.
What people used to do, this changed in October of 2016, was that you were able to, in the past, do incentivized reviews. So in reviews of Amazon products, a lot of the time you would see, I got this product for free in exchange for my review. That is no longer allowed by terms of service. You'll get suspended for that.
Wow.
So it's become a lot harder to drive
So you can't give products away in return for a favorable review.
Absolutely.
Now you have to earn it.
Absolutely.
Truly.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's really important that you monitor this, and also, and this is your customer service phone number here. Imagine if I call this right now and ring to your phone.
It actually goes to Brian, who is one of our partners, but it goes directly to one of us, so you can talk to us.
So Brian, I know what your phone number is now. So Zach, really interesting stuff. I mean, we could talk for hours on this. Amazon's definitely been part of your success formula right now. Looking to grow in this same space, looking to kind of expand your product portfolio?
Okay, yeah, so where am I going in the future? Right now, me and the team at Vanguard Products are in the middle of our first launch cycle of 10 products. So right now we have 1 that is selling well. We have realized through some of our efforts that we really have to think of this as a portfolio of products.
Okay.
So we're
kind of like a portfolio of stocks that you might own as well.
Yeah, same thing. We want to diversify across different products and different
segments,
market categories.
fields.
Because it's so easy for us to launch into these different categories. It doesn't take a lot of upfront capital to have a brand that could be selling multiple units a day, right? So we're looking to put ourselves in these different categories. We're looking to do quite a few of these launch cycles as well. So they don't really take that long either. It's a few months for every cycle to launch 10 products.
How many, if I may ask, what's the range-wise, how many have you sold so far on Amazon?
On Amazon, we've had 3 products.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and how many, what quantity have you sold?
Not talking about units per day, or are you talking?
Total.
This product right here has done about 40,000 this year, since January.
40,000.
Yeah, and that's pretty small for Amazon. There's people I see. One of the things I think is really interesting is we haven't had any type of outside audiences, right? This is only Amazon customers. I listen to a lot of podcasts. One of the guys I follow is by the name of Jocko Willink, who is a ex-Navy SEAL commander down in San Diego. He launched his podcast about a year ago on Joe Rogan. Within a few months, he had about 50,000 followers. A few months after that, he launched a private label of white pomegranate tea as a Navy SEAL, right?
Wow.
Not what you expect. But within about another month after that launch, he was doing 30,000 a month with a white tea private label, right? So audience matters. If you are a social media influencer, you should be having your own products. You should be merchandising your own stuff.
And
you should be
Amazon
selling
would
fit
be
teas
probably
or teeth
good,
whiteners, right?
Yep.
Like, you should be having your own merchandise, and you should be selling it on Amazon, in my opinion. That's kind of where I'm going next. Also, 3D printing, I think, is amazing. I'm probably going to be moving to Shenzhen, China for a few years, which is something that
So maybe making some of your own products as well, and then eventually sell them through Amazon.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
really, a lot of possibilities exist there for growth. I mean, you have to look at diversification, brand identity is key, customer service, all things we've learned about here, pricing models, studying your competition, using the various tools that are available, efficiencies. Amazon is a great storefront as well. Definitely, you can start young, you can start old. That's the point, is that My Startup is not about, it's not about the product, it's about you. It's about your journey. So.
Yeah, man. There's a guy by the name of Andy Frisella who has a podcast who introduced the concept to me of your entrepreneurial age. Different than your actual age. It's how long you've been an entrepreneur for. So you can be 50 years old and be a young entrepreneur.
It's like when you've been called to go into the church and be a priest. This is when you're called to go make real sustainable business.
Yeah.
So Zach, I want to thank you for joining us here on MyStartup.Live.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I want to wish you the best of luck with Vanguard Product Group and your Amazon web store. I'm definitely going to check it out if I ever need a infrared thermometer. I know where to go.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Zach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you next time on MyStartup.Live. Thanks for joining.